Great. Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming back to the Creativity Stage, Day 3 at MadFest. I'm your host, Maisal Ansari, and we've got a great treat today. We're going to do a live podcast recording with Liz from the Good Housekeeping and the one and only Kirsty Gallacher. So you're going to be presenting today your My Life in a Tin Biscuit. So over to you, ladies.
Well, hello and welcome back. My name is Liz from Good Housekeeping, and this is our first ever recording of our podcast, My Life in a Biscuit Tin, with a live audience. And I'm here with the very fabulous sporting and broadcasting legend, Kirsty Gallacher, who has made it through the traffic and the heat.
That was a bit dicey, I have to say.
Little bit tight.
It's not good out there, but it's nice to be here.
It
took a while, so it's fine. I feel calmer now. Thank you, Liz.
For those of you that haven't listened to the podcast before, the concept is basically desert island discs, but for things in your house. Because at Good Housekeeping, obviously, we're very involved in things of the domestic sphere, but not because we think they're silly and not important. You know, great works of literature and revolutions start at the kitchen table, and however aggressive your declutter, we're all obsessed with decluttering, there are things that none of us would get rid of, no matter what. And we ask people like you, Kirsty, to bring them in and talk to us about what you would keep in your biscuit tin of keepsakes, the things that are meaningful beyond themselves and not necessarily valuable. And through that, we'll try and find a bit about you. So do you want to show us what the first thing is?
Firstly, it was very difficult to do this because I'm OCD tidy.
Oh, are you?
When I declutter, I really declutter. So it was quite difficult to do. And also, we have got no storage in our house. It's one of those houses with just not a lot of storage, which works fine.
Is it a modern house?
It is a barn conversion, so therefore it's like a shell. And then you're like, there isn't much
no
room to put
cupboards.
anything anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I did manage to find some very important bits and bobs. I think we're going to start with something quite amusing and quite poignant. A vinyl of the Bee Gees.
Oh, look at them. Resplendent they are.
There they are, which was one of their first big vinyl albums. Well, big albums, actually, after Saturday Night Fever, which hopefully a lot of people like. So I'm a little bit obsessed by the Bee Gees. But I was obsessed.
Why?
I just love them. I grew up, I'm a 76 child.
Same.
So yeah, 50 next year. Bee Gees were at their height, and I loved vinyls as a child. I think I can't find Shaka Khan. I had Shaka Khan, the Bee Gees, and one other. And I've had this for that long.
So this is your vinyl?
That's my old vinyl.
And where was the record player in your house when you were growing up? Can you remember?
I can't remember.
Really?
I asked my mum, and she was like, well, we got rid of it, but I clung on to these.
And do you still have all your vinyl?
Well, I've got a big collection.
Really?
Rather serendipitously, I now work in radio on the relaunch of Gold Radio, which is quite sort of
it's this era,
ironic,
isn't it?
And it's 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. We play a lot of Bee Gees, but my vinyl collection now is huge.
And were your mum and dad music? Was it a musicy house when you were growing up?
We grew up with music, with sport and music. Obviously, I work in sport and have worked in sport for years at Sky Sports and various other places. I also do quite a lot of sport still. But music was always a big thing for our family. We had it on, the radio was always on, or there was music playing.
Yeah.
So I don't think I realised how important music was when people asked me when I started at Smooth Radio at Global, and then moving to do Drive on Gold when they relaunched it in January. And someone said, was it important to you? And I was like, well, yeah, music surrounded me. It was, my parents played it in the car, in the kitchen. I had tapes and CDs, but I had these vinyls as well. And obviously I didn't have a record player through my late teens or 20s or 30s, but now they're a bit more kind of cool, aren't they? My boyfriend gave me a new record player and a collection of vinyls.
What was the most recent album you've bought?
So I went and did a real sort of, a wonderful shop in Guildford, because there aren't many really good vinyl shops. There's one really good one in Guildford, if you know Guildford. And I got Rolling Stones, some more Bowie, Chris Rea.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to
You
think
quite
of
like
and
a
level
bit of
42.
bit of dad rock there, Kirsty, I
Is
would
it?
say. I think
well,
so.
Yeah, but I also love my soul as well. Diana Ross and
Yeah.
the Supremes.
Are you a
so-
dancer? Would
I'm
you
not
dance?
a dancer. I'll sit and listen. I'll sway just a bit,
Okay,
but not
okay.
really. But these guys, I love everything they've done. And I interviewed, not long ago, Robin Gibb's son.
Oh, really?
Because he is also, there he is on the right.
They're all
Who
brothers.
sadly has passed. It's
Yeah.
only Barry that lives.
Ah.
I know. So Barry, I might be going to interview, or I'm hoping that I will be. He's in America. He is the only one that lives.
Which
but
was the
he's-
one with the really squeaky voice?
Who's
Is that
Barry has the big voice.
this one?
But Robin's son looks identical, and I interviewed his son a few weeks ago, and I was kind of mesmerised looking at him, thinking, I'm a bit obsessed by your family.
Do you
in
think
a
the
very
Bee Gees are
way.
underrated or overrated? Under, presumably, because you love them.
Say that again, Liz.
Are they underrated or
Well,
as a band?
they say it's a bit like ABBA, isn't it? Are you
Yeah.
an ABBA fan?
Love them.
Right, I don't like ABBA.
I've
so
never
sorry.
met anyone who doesn't like ABBA
Exactly.
before.
But there are those of us out there, and but
You should have a support group, you
I know.
non-ABBA fans.
I don't like. I mean, I'm getting used to ABBA, and I play a lot of ABBA, and I have
Gradually
done
accepting
Smooth
it.
Radio, Gold Radio, play quite a lot. I don't love ABBA, but I love these guys. My producer hates the Bee Gees, but loves ABBA. I think it's either one or the other. I don't know.
Maybe
I
that's
grew up with ABBA
true.
as well. And maybe I
Could
bizarre.
be. Well,
But
that's
there we
a
are,
good
they're-
start. The Bee Gees vinyl,
They're going
solid.
that biscuit.
It's
tin.
quite a big biscuit tin to get a
It's-
full vinyl in,
it's
but
a
I
sort
think
of
we can do like a bread bin.
bread
more.
bin.
Yeah,
I was
okay,
gonna
good.
say.
Right, what's next?
Wonderful. Right. I am going to go for my, careful I don't break it.
Oh,
This
well,
wasn't easy to transport.
A
My
ladro.
Iadro
Is that how you
figurine.
say it?
Iadro.
Iadro.
Spanish, yes.
Oh,
Iadro.
I've always said that. I thought it was Welsh. Double
No,
L.
Iadro. Iadro. It is. So this was my grandmother's.
Okay.
So I put it down actually.
So she's a lovely little,
Bee Gees.
like a ballerina, sitting down. Classic ladro figure.
So, yes.
Figurine.
So she was at my grandparents' house in Edinburgh and spent a lot of time there and happy memories and my childhood. and
Mum's mum and dad or dad's
my
mum and dad?
mum's.
Mum's mum.
And yeah, basically very nostalgic for me because I used to love it and I used to love ballet myself. And when they passed, my grandparents, when my grandmother passed, my mum sort of said, you know, you loved this figurine, would you like it? And I was just, yeah, it's very emotional. It's in my bedroom and
Tell me about
I
your
have a little
grandma.
boy as well.
What do you remember of her? What was she like as a person?
My grandmother?
Yeah, your
Oh.
grandma who's figurative.
Well, I mean, both my grandparents, both sets, but my grandmother was my mum is an only child.
Yeah.
So my mum didn't have siblings, so therefore, whenever my dad, who was a professional golfer, was sort of traveling or whatever, my parents would get my grandparents to come down and look after us, and it was very hands-on with my grandparents, and yeah.
And you were quite little, I think, when you moved from Scotland. You moved
Yeah, no, I was
south,
only
didn't you?
18 months
So
old.
did you? But your grandma and grandpa still stayed in
Yes.
Scotland, so they lived
Yeah.
far away, but they would come all that
Yes.
distance to look after you and hang out with your mum and stuff.
Yeah, so I was born in Edinburgh, but moved down south for my dad's
Golf.
for his golf, really. But yeah, and just we had wonderful times, and Scotland's wonderful, Edinburgh's wonderful. And
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you go back a lot?
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah.
do actually go and see the rest of the family. But
And you have become a ladro collector or no?
say that.
Do you collect?
Well, no, I don't. I have got another figure, another figurine of a little boy. But this little girl, it's slightly smaller, but this one was very precious to me because I just used to love it. I think I used to sort of move it around the house, and I used to get told not to do that.
Yeah, you're not
Just
allowed
put
to
it
touch
down.
the ladro,
So, but
are you?
that's a very old piece.
Is it?
That's early. I mean, God, that's got to be, I don't know how many years.
I'd
Well,
have
it's
no
been-
sense
I'm nearly
of it.
50.
Yeah, so
So-
it's at least that. But some of them are worth quite a lot of money. They're quite rare,
Yes.
aren't they? You see them on the Antiques Roadshow. They turn up
Yeah.
and go, "I've got this ladro.
Yeah.
Is it worth anything?"
Yeah, you made me also think, are they Welsh or Spanish?
I don't
Said they're
know.
Spanish. Does anyone know?
We'll have to Google
Iadro.
it.
I
I just saw the double L and assumed.
double L. Yeah, no,
Could be.
I was told it
Well, I'm glad you wrapped it up in your tea towel.
Well,
otherwise
yes,
I would
that
hate
was-
for her to
there we
lose a
are. Put it
toe on
back
the way
in there.
home.
Right, shall we move on
Yeah.
to this picture
Okay.
of my boys,
Oh,
which is, so
look
my
at them.
boys are my life, obviously, my two boys. They are now 15 and 18. But this picture of my boys, Oscar and Jude, they're in a tree trunk in Savile Gardens, Windsor Great Park.
Okay.
And we used to go there a lot as, well, when they're growing up, I used to take them most days. And we were on a walk, and in Windsor Great Park, there are some obviously beautiful trees and plants and all the rest of it. It is gorgeous. And I couldn't find them, and they were in this tree. And it was a very, and it sounds cheesy, and it was a really natural moment. They literally, I got my phone, and it was just, I went, come on, let's have a picture then. And this picture just makes me quite emotional. Because they're now 15 and 18, and they were toddlers there.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's now pride of place at home.
So Oscar is the big one.
Oscar's the big blonde one
Jude
there,
is
and
the
Jude is the
littler
darker one there, but it's a beautiful picture, and they are it's just one of those things that you can't, if you have to grab everything, you can't obviously grab everything.
Yeah.
This would be certainly one of those things.
It's a magnificent frame. It looks like
Yeah, the
a
frame's
sort of,
lovely.
What's it made? Is it made of stone? It's quite heavy. They're cute, for sure. Tell me about, because when they were little, I'm just thinking, if they're 15, 18 now, you must have worked more or less the whole time
Yeah, I
when they were
did.
little.
Yeah, I've always worked. Yeah.
How was that?
It's hard. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you miss things in their life, and you are pretty manic. I am hectic.
Yeah.
Driving here, you saw me. It's sort of, after this, I'm going to Global Radio and sort of text Jude. He left school at the weekend. It's his speech day, so he's left school, Oscar. He's in Malia, not hearing from
What's
him much.
his plan?
He's going to take a year out, and then he's going to university in America. Both
Wow.
kids want to go to America.
Oh, gosh.
Both are sporty and want to go over there. I know it's not the right thing
What
to be
type of
saying, but
sports? And have you
Well,
encouraged them, or did it just
No,
happen?
listen, Oscar wants to, he wants to do a scholarship, rugby scholarship, and then work out a business degree.
Yeah.
Oscar, the big one. He's taking a gap year for now.
Right.
And Jude wants to be a professional golfer. But he's got 2 more years. He's got 4 more years at school.
Okay.
He's only just 15.
Can we talk about golf?
Go on then.
You grew up fully immersed,
Yes.
surrounded by your dad, obviously, is a professional golfer, still works in that world.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And did you live on the Wentworth estate?
Yes,
Am I
on the
right
golf
about that? Wentworth, obviously, big famous golf course. For those people who are not interested in golf at all, it's a big famous golf course. They have huge international competitions there. I think the PGA,
Yeah, the
European
PGA
PGA is going to be there.
They used to have the Suntory or the Toyota World Match Play later in the year. That's sadly gone. We have 1 tournament a year there. Yeah, we grew up. My dad was the professional. He was the pro. Got pro there for 25 years. But
Yeah.
Pro, but then he toured as well.
Right.
And then he was Ryder Cup captain 3 times, which is the sort of highest accolade in golf, really.
And the Ryder Cup is where, because golf's obviously an individual sport, really, but the Ryder
That's
Cup
it.
is where America and Europe
That's
do a
it.
team face-off.
Exactly. It's a team competition.
But you have sister as well, I think.
Yeah.
As girls growing up in the golfing world, did you always find sport interesting? You were always into it, or was it something you're like, oh, Dad, bore on about golf? How did it happen that you fell in love with it?
I've got a sister and a brother. So
Yeah.
my brother and I are very close in age, 16 months apart.
Okay.
My sister and I are 11 years
Oh, wow.
apart.
Okay.
My sister is about as sporty as that tea towel. She really has
Not
no interest in
interested.
sport. She's creative, she's all those things. My brother's an amateur golfer, but
Right.
he's got a proper job.
Yeah.
And then my sister, she's not interested. But it was just the way it was. It was just, I don't think it was anything to do with my dad or mum being sporty and forcing it down our throats.
Your
It-
mum's
it
sporty
was, Yeah,
too.
very sporty. It was more that we were those sorts of people, grew up in sport. And I think it's one of those things where it was just our lifestyle, our life. At school, I was sports captain at both my schools.
Yeah.
Played golf as well and enjoyed it. I think it's just, it is what you are.
Mm.
You can't force anybody to, you can encourage and go, let's find something for you.
Yeah.
My sister didn't find anything sporty. Actually, she's late 30s now. I think she's found tennis, which is good, but and she's more sort of yoga.
Yeah.
But I think that sport was in our veins, but it doesn't mean that you carry on with it. I'm very lucky, I'm very grateful that my boys love their sport because it's much more helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because we all do things together, play golf or tennis or whatever.
Tell me your favourite sport to play and your favourite sport to watch.
Oh, good question. Favourite sport to play? I quite like paddle at the moment.
It's very trendy, isn't it, paddle tennis?
I liked it before that, actually, because we go to Spain a lot, and it's quite big there. That's
Tell us that
that's
I'm
where
not
the
a
movement
sport
came from.
person. Tell us what paddle is different from
It's a racket. Yeah, it's a racket sport. It's a quicker game of tennis where you use the back wall as well.
Sort of like
It's a bit squashy.
squashy
Yeah, it's
as
quite
well.
squash-like.
And is it always 2 versus 2 in paddle, or can it be 1 versus 1, or is it?
No, 1-1.
One,
Well,
one.
I think they prefer. I think it's 2 mainly.
Yeah, okay.
We sometimes just hit. No, it's
Right.
2. But you can just.
And
Play, I mean, that's hard work because you'd have to be at every
Yes.
possible angle.
You must
But
be competitive by nature.
Yes, I am. Yeah, but no, I love lots of sports. To be honest with you, I am quite competitive.
Are the boys competitive with each other?
Yeah, they are.
Is that okay?
Too much sometimes. Can be a bit boisterous, but then you've got to let them be boys, haven't you?
Yeah, a bit. I think you do.
Yeah, they're very competitive. I mean, Jude's not finished school yet. He's Oscar finished at the weekend. Jude's playing golf today. They've got these work experience days. I said, right, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to play golf because that's what I'm going to do. I said, Jude, hang on a minute. And he is doing something else as well, but he's out on the golf course right now. He's literally obsessed. But I would prefer that to him sort of not knowing what he wants to do. Or as a 15-year-old sitting on TikTok and various other social media
I think
platforms.
people find golf quite therapeutic. Maybe professional golf is not that relaxing, but there are people who sort of start to play golf maybe a bit later in life. It's a way to spend time with people that you really get along with.
Golf's a great, yeah, it's a great game.
Out in the outdoors, chin wagging. 4 hours takes you to get
it's
round.
a long, what do they say? It's
Good word spoiled.
Yeah, long word spoiled. It's a great game for business, you know. It's encouraged if you work in business, it's a good game.
Yeah.
A lot of contracts, a lot of big deals are done on the golf course. I'm sure Trump's done a few of those.
Is that
don't you?
still true, that kind of
Yeah.
perception?
Yeah, no, I think it is. I
Oh,
think it very much is.
interesting.
I think it's a handy game to play. I think the difficult thing and what I would like to see in golf is that the barriers are brought down as far as that elite label, because it is easier now to become a member or play at municipal golf. You don't have to sort of pay.
You see them
fortunes
signs,
for-
don't you, when you're driving around, visitors welcome, or just turn up and play type thing.
That is what we need more of.
Yeah.
And I think there are more sort of places you can go. We've got a place near us called Lavender Park, where in Ascot, where you can just turn up, pay, go on the range,
Hit some balls.
There's a little pitch and putt course. You can eat, you can watch. It's like slightly like a sports bar.
Yeah.
But we need more of these places to encourage these sorts of games.
Because it did have that rep of being quite
yeah.
stuffy and
Well, you can't just, it's not like football where you pick a ball
Yeah.
up, go to the park.
Yeah.
It is more complicated. So I would like to see that for children, because lots more girls are playing, which is so amazing to see.
Yeah.
And I love watching golf. We've got the Open, the British Open was the Open, isn't it? British Open golf coming up very soon.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
And quickly, your favourite sport to watch?
To watch golf, probably. Or tennis. I'm loving Wimbledon.
Everyone
What
loves
about
a bit
Jack
of Wimbledon.
Draper? He's a star.
Amazing.
And Emma, of course.
Amazing.
I love Wimbledon.
Do you love to go physically with yourself to Wimbledon? Isn't
I
it so
do.
cool?
I was
I've only
invited-
been once, you know. I loved
You've
it.
got to go if you haven't been. Just even queue up. I was invited 3 times this year, and I can't go any time
Oh, fuming.
because of work. And we've
Yeah.
got a wedding in the weekend. I was like,
Oh, no.
So no, gutted about that. I was at Queen's working at the tennis a couple of weeks ago at Queen's Club. That was wonderful. So and that was the first year that they reintroduced women's tennis after 50 odd years, and I sort of did this quite big launch for them. So that was really great to be a part of.
Will you watch the Women's Euros?
Yes, love it.
Yeah.
Love women's sport.
Yeah.
Women's rugby's now, you know, flying.
As somebody who has been a sort of card-carrying non-sports person all my life, I am now an absolutely massive women's
Are you?
Arsenal fan and
Oh,
go to the
brilliant.
games at the Emirates and love it. And I'm going to Switzerland next week to watch the Euros. So it's
Sweet.
suddenly happened to me.
Fantastic.
I get
It's
it.
a breakthrough.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So and you're actually going to.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're doing more than I'll be watching it on the sofa. Right.
Go on, go again
Okay.
in your
how many
biscuit
more
tin.
have we got?
2 more.
So,
Oh, that's a funny thing. What's
So this
he?
is a British Bulldog paperweight.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Quite heavy.
Silver.
This represents, I'm a huge animal lover, and I
Yeah.
do a lot of campaigning for animal welfare now. But I have had this for years and years and years and years. And I have owned so I rescue dogs. And I've rescued quite a few British Bulldogs.
Can I hold him?
And I already had him. And
Can you remember where he came from? Where did you get him?
I don't have a clue. Someone gave that to me.
I think he might be old. He says Leonardo on his bum there.
Yeah,
Look.
he's beautiful. And he is a paperweight. He's very old.
I like his face. He does look
I know.
grumpy.
But he really represents, I mean, it's, again, bizarre, really, that, I mean, I've always been a huge animal lover. We were brought up with loads of animals, and my kids are huge animal lovers, and I obviously I like to use my platform for talking about animal welfare now, and I do that a lot, and I'm sort of patron of various charities and ambassador, and I think, in this role, when you're in broadcasting, you should try and use your voice for...
What's the frontier of animal welfare now? I remember when I was growing up and the Body Shop was a big thing, and it was all about not testing beauty products on animals. What are people talking about in the field of animal welfare right
Testing
now?
on
Fighting
what?
for?
Beagle testing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beagle?
Beagles.
As in, they
yes.
test on... Why
yes.
beagles?
It's quite a thing if you look on social media. I don't want to
Really?
obviously
No.
get too involved in that, but animal testing, and I was on Vanessa's show on Channel 5.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I had a bit of a joust with this guy who he's I don't know what his exact title was, but he was very much all for animal testing. Actually, we don't need to test on animals because it doesn't really work. And they've admitted that, and he admitted that, sat there and made that. Did you see?
I didn't watch the
You should have a look
thing.
at
I
the
was
clip on my
aware of
social
the...
media.
Yeah.
Bless him, I felt for him. And he was sort of talking about, more cats get killed or rats get killed by cats. And I was like, are you for real? And it was talking about sort of the fact that really animal testing doesn't really help us.
Right.
And, but we do test on beagles, and the reason we test on beagle dogs is because they're placid. And they just let you do whatever. And listen, I've been part of this campaign against this. There's a dreadful place that they do all of this in Colchester, and it's very difficult, and it's a very complicated matter where I don't think it's going to stop for a while. So that is sad, but I'm very much, listen, on the lighter note, I am trying, I want to just spread the word on treating animals well. I am a vegetarian.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be. My kids aren't vegetarians, but and I have eaten meat. It's about how we treat animals. Factory farming's not great. Live export, import, fur farming, all that sort of stuff. But also just the fact that rescue homes are full of dogs at the moment. Too many people buy them and then go, I can't really cope with that.
Yes.
COVID dogs.
Yes.
So I worked with Pete Wicks last week at the Dogs Trust, and we did a big sort of campaign about just rehoming, and it's really important that we don't buy into puppy farming and we don't buy dogs. If we can rescue and adopt, that's all I would like to say.
That's the way to do it.
And cats, but
How
dogs
many
mainly.
dogs have you got yourself that you own?
2 at the moment.
Tell me their
Sadly
names.
lost Betsy, who was my Battersea rescue 18 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was a very broken girl. Yeah, and I rescued her.
Tell me the names of the dogs you've got.
Bertie and Frank.
Good, I'd like to know a
Frank
dog's
was
name.
found just wandering around London.
Oh, Frank.
During Storm Franklin,
Oh.
And Battersea took him in. Actually, it was the story's awful. And then I've got Bertie, who's a French bulldog. I'm looking at rescuing a couple more. My parents are like,
what are you doing, Kirsty?
I will do it.
Right, last one.
My last thing
Yes.
is...
What is this funny little pink thing?
Look, it's very sort of weathered, shall we say now. This is a meditation card. Now, do I meditate? Not really. Should I? Absolutely. It's a meditation card. And the story is that Gabby Logan, who is my best mate, broadcaster, we're both having a facial or something. I can only say that we were early 20s.
Yeah.
So this is quite a few years old, 25 years old. We're having a facial with this amazing woman who then started kind of doing Reiki, and she was very spiritual. And she said, and she just said to me, "You're very anxious, Kirsty." And I went, "Yeah, I'm a little bit, like that." And I think I'd just started presenting at Sky Sports, probably, or something, or there was something going on in my life, can't remember. And I did have a slightly, we all had interesting, my childhood was wonderful, but growing up wasn't always easy.
Yeah, of course.
And, we all go through things. And she did this Reiki on me, and she was very amazing and spiritual. And she gave me this card, and it says, it's about letting go. And I need my glasses to properly read what it says. But it says, can you read
Yes,
that,
I think I
please?
probably can. It says, I am no longer a prisoner of my past regrets, earlier traumas, pain and suffering. I believe in miracles and a joy-filled future. I gain the courage to let go. I let go of everything, period. It looks like a little playing card.
So it's always with me, and I put it on the back of my phone or in my wallet. But the point with this is it's quite interesting because sometimes I just look at it and I remember this woman who was very basically, it's live in the moment.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds really cheesy and it's very trendy to talk, but actually, this is 25 years ago, where we didn't really, yoga wasn't really a thing then, or any of that. But this is always with me, and that is something that I had when I moved house. I was like, oh my God, where is it? Where is it? And I put it in my bedside table, and then my boyfriend said, just keep it with you. Put it with, if you lose your phone, obviously, you're
Yes.
buggered.
But for 25 years, I think it's in quite good nick. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
but it
looks like it's been looked after.
But it's basically, don't live by the past.
Yeah.
Live in the moment. Don't regret things. Try, be the best version of yourself, but don't let things sort of cast that shadow over you. And I do try and remember, it's difficult to do that, especially when you're a perfectionist and you're always going, well, did I do a good job there, or did I? But actually, that's it, isn't it? It's just.
Do you think, just briefly before we close, do you think you have, as you've grown up and got older, calmed, and have you got better at letting go, or do you still hold it in?
I think it depends what's going on in my life. I think it depends with, what you're juggling, what's being thrown at you. I think it depends what's happening. I mean, I'm a single working mum. I mean, the children only have me. So for me, I obviously, it's a bit of a roller coaster sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're navigating for your children as well as yourself. So
having
I think
your little
that
pink
this needs
aid
to come
memoir.
out more.
Yeah. Maybe you should badge it.
Yeah, let's
attach
do
it to your lanyard.
Maybe I need a tattoo. I don't like tattoos, but
could
maybe
be.
it's just have a quick look at that.
That looks like it could be a tattoo. You
know
could definitely
what?
do a
That-
discreet ankle version.
That might be
perhaps,
my takeaway from
today.
today.
Kirsty, it's been an absolute pleasure
Sorry it's
chatting
random.
to you. No, I love the randomness.
Very
of it.
random,
It's
but
fantastic.
thanks for having me.
And it's been a pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Kirsty.
Thank you so much. Thank you.